What's up, guys? Just want to talk about a couple things that I actually learned. I actually learning is it's an ongoing process. So some things that I am still learning. Um, Definitely learned that gardening. I mean, I don't have a green thumb, but it's like a lime color because I've actually figured out that it's not as easy as people make some things look in videos. I definitely learned that a lot of people still are not trying to prepare for anything. At least, unfortunately, some of the people that I happen to associate myself with. Some talk about it, some don't do anything. Or maybe they might do it and they might not want anyone to know. Uh, which makes things harder for in case something was to happen, regardless of how catastrophic or just emergency. It makes it a lot harder for you to have any more options as far as having anyone else to fall back on or to render you any type of aid. I've been speaking to some of my own coworkers, and we're in the medical field, and it seems like they are more hell-bent on thinking that the cavalry's going to swoop in and save them, thinking that everything's going to be okay, thinking that there's nothing to worry about. And actually, from a lot of the people I've just spoken to, just in casual conversations, a lot of people actually still think that way. And that lets me think too, how many more people out there are doing the same thing. And it's a whole hell of a lot, that I know. And it's definitely unfortunate. So at the same time, to me, that lets me know, well, if other people aren't preparing, regardless of creed, color, location, political affiliation, the people that do prepare, how well are you going to be able to actually handle turning people away? Now, defending yourself is one thing. When you defend yourself against a threat, your adrenaline is raised, you're in a pissed off state of mind, so you're going to do what you can for your family, and that's understandable. But what if things get bad? Let's suppose it's a storm or a flood, and a family of 8 come to your house and ask for help. How much longer would it take before the next family of 8 comes to your house? It's really hard to gauge how anyone will be in a time where things can go wrong and things can go bad. I understand using force as far as protecting your family or yourself. But when it comes down to any other time, is it just a judgment call? Does your spirit tell you, or God, or I mean, if you don't believe in God, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to reference to. Is it a vibe? I don't know. And I realize that it's a real sad thing that some people are just, they have no clue and they will never have a clue. Another thing I learned, unfortunately, people I know had firearms. A couple still do. Have no freaking clue how to use them. None. Cleaning is non-existent. It's bad when it takes someone about an hour and a half to scrub a firearm that hasn't been cleaned since it was purchased, because it was done, it was received from a family member. People have, it's bad when someone has a firearm. They have no idea the correct ammunition that needs to be used for that firearm because, oh, it's a 12 gauge, so it shouldn't be a problem of shooting. I'm like, oh my Jesus. If you're going to get a firearm, make sure you know how to use it. Make sure you go to someone that has a clue of what they're talking about, whether it be a good old hunting buddy or hunting friend or family member, or a firearms instructor would probably be your best bet if it wasn't someone that served in the military. That's another option. I've been paying attention to a lot of things. I've learned that the government, as usual, is full of shit, as they've always been. And it just seems to me that people let different stories pass by because just looking at Facebook, people are more prone to see what's going on with Kanye and the Kardashians than what's going on with Russia actually talking about they're going to hold their own, and or it could be a bad situation. And they have the same nuclear firepower as we do. I've realized that our economy is beginning to tank, and that's just because of how many countries have started to pull away from the U.S. currency. And that just goes to show that a lot of people still aren't paying attention because a lot of people are still spending. Last Friday, payday, people in the store shopping and spending the same way they normally would spend. Doesn't seem like anyone's in the camping or hunting section, even considering this is summer. Maybe everybody already has their gear. Doesn't seem like anybody's stocking up, at least not from what I've seen. It just seems like a lot of people just don't pay attention, and unfortunately a lot of those people are the same people that would probably be the ones with their hand out, wishing that they knew, when the truth and reality is right in their face and has been in their face for the whole time. I've definitely realized that making things on my own, figuring out how things work, DIY has been something that I enjoy. I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy figuring certain things out. Making things. This, just to show, and there's going to be a separate video on that. A lot of people have those Daytrex water pouches. And of course, you should always have some type of emergency ration. Same thing. And there'll be a separate video on that. It may not be as industrially strong, but it could still save your ass. Sometimes you have to make sure you think out the box as far as making sure things are good for you in your situation, because you never know what you might have to deal with. But I realize that your mind and your will are the two strongest things, next to also family, if you happen to have a family who values your opinion and works together in unison with you. Those are the most important things that anyone that is thinking about any type of preparedness or anything from a preparedness standpoint can have. It's really difficult doing things on your own. But sometimes, in some situations, you may have to. But then you might also be the one that would build up whatever other individuals may come along at a chosen time. I just realized that I learned a lot. I try to pay attention as much as I can. And learning is, in your mind, are the best assets that anyone thinking about preparing can have. So, just wanted to rant, just because of some things that I've noticed, and it's it's funny. Actually, the reason why this all came about is because I was in the store, and there was an individual, young lady, actually young, and she had so much girth that it was difficult for her to walk by other people in the aisle. She reached up a couple times to grab something off the shelf that was taller than her, and her stomach unfortunately knocked things over. Every time she took maybe 10 feet, she began to breathe heavy and pretty much was sweating in an air-conditioned grocery store. And that's another reason why I decided, well, that's something else I learned, to start eating healthy, to start taking care of myself, to start working out. Slow down smoking, pretty much damn near quit pretty well. So, alright guys, just want to tell you about some of the lessons I learned. So, hope you guys stay safe. Have a nice weekend. And what have you learned?